Hello there, it's been a little while since the start of Gunfire Reborn's first season passed, and I feel it's necessary to begin a little discussion on the different Arcane Ascensions that we have for this current season. Which one is the best go-to that you should use? Let's begin. As a quick disclaimer, however, I would like to note that even though I do not demonstrate the amount of time I have spent playing this game on stream, I have spent quite a lot of time on it. So, for starters, on the Arcane Ascensions, what we have is Thunderstep. After using the dash, unleash a bolt of lightning on the nearest two enemies within 25 meters, dealing 300 lightning damage, 3 and an additional 300 base damage for each arcane jade obtained. Enhance the next primary skill up to 3 stacks with every 160 meters moved, and release an overcharged thunder. The overcharged thunder deals an additional 400% total damage and causes 2 seconds of imprisoning. What imprisoning is, if you need an example, is the Crown Prince's primary ability with the chains that put enemies into a momentary stasis. Next one over, we have Elemental Pulses. Release a random elemental pulse at the location of the target and deal 600 elemental damage with a 30% chance to trigger elemental effect. With a cooldown of 10 seconds and an additional 600 base damage, an additional 9% chance to cause elemental effect for each obtained arcane jade, and minus 0.2 second cooldown for each time an elemental effect is triggered. This effect can trigger a maximum of once every 0.5 seconds. And finally, last but not least, we have Thorny Carapace. Generate one Thorny Spine every 2 seconds, which can track targets automatically when aiming at them. Each Thorny Spine deals corrosion damage equal to total max health with a 30% chance to cause a decay effect, and an additional total max health times 0.6 base damage for every arcane jade. Maximum storage of Thorny Spines is 10. As you may have already noticed, I have already ranked these. Elemental Pulses is number 1. It is the most versatile. It can go in any build, even if you are not building for elemental effect. Number 2 is Thunderstep, because you can get more value with more characters than you can for Thorny Carapace. And Thorny Carapace is pretty niche. It relies on a character to be relatively tanky and having higher health. Now for the characters, I'm going to scroll down a little bit to reveal them. These are your options for each of them, and they are numbered. Number 1 being their number 1 choice, and number 2 being their second best choice. We're gonna go in order of character select. So starting with the Crown Prince, his number 1 choice is going to be Elemental Pulse for obvious reasons, because he cares a lot about elemental effect. His number 2 choice is going to be Thunderstep, because you can empower his primary ability to deal a lot more damage than it should, and also chain enemies. Additionally, I believe the stacks do stack. Someone correct me later on, please. Second character over, we have Albai, the dog. His first choice is going to be Elemental Pulses, especially if you're going a elemental effect build with guns where they share elemental effects and you carry around 2 of them all the time. And his second best choice is going to be Thorny Carapace, with him having one of the highest healths in the game, and pretty sure he does not benefit much from having Thunderstep. Thorny Carapace is going to be his second best option. Next up, we have Kingyon. I do apologize if I mispronounce these, by the way. The bird who cares about being within melee range of enemies. His number 1 choice is going to be Elemental Pulses, with his second best choice being Thunderstep because of the empowered leap ability for his primary. Next, we have Leiluo, my favorite character in the game. His number 1, and this is where people are going to debate about me with, is going to be Thunderstep, because if you empower his primary, you are receiving an enhanced empowerment of your next weapon's damage. Done well, as you saw in the other day's stream if you were there or watched it. And around the end, I did a massive crit of 200,000 damage to the golem moments before dying to it, because I play very recklessly with just a crit multi of 11.6 and some added damage to it. But that is massive damage. You're going to get a lot of value from running Thunderstep with Leiluo. His second best, if you are running a elemental effect build, especially one that cares about shocking enemies, you're going to want Elemental Pulses. The next character over, we have Kyansui, which is the turtle. His number one choice, this one is also going to be one of pretty high debate, I feel. His number one choice is going to be Thunderstep. He cares about dashing around a lot. Thunderstep cares about dashing around a lot. It is a pair that just makes sense. And on top of that, you're going to be empowering his primary ability, which is going to put enemies on lock. It's going to help you survive a little bit longer up close and personal with things, and it just works. And his second best choice is going to be Thorny Carapace. Kansui is the only character. I don't exactly recommend running Elemental Pulses, but if you feel inclined to run a gun-centered build on the turtle, then Elemental Pulse could be a very good secondary choice. And now for the last of the base game characters, we have Tao, the bunny. Her number one choice is going to be Elemental Pulses because she cares a lot about firing guns, especially fast-firing weapons, and it just makes sense. You deal an Elemental Pulse, you're firing rapidly, it's a good choice. Her second best choice is going to be Thorny Carapace, unfortunately, because her primary ability doesn't exactly make good use with Thunderstep. You can still use it with Thunderstep, but you're not going to be getting the maximum amount of value from an Arcane Ascension if you're running Thunderstep as opposed to running Elemental Pulses or Thorny Carapace with Tao. Now moving on to the DLC characters, we have Jingzhe, which is the monkey. His number one choice is going to be Elemental Pulses for similar reasons to other characters stated before, with his second best choice going to be Thunderstep because of his empowered primary ability damage. Next up, we have Lee, the Firefox. Elemental Pulses and Thunderstep is going to be her best two choices, similar to the monkey's options. And then on to the next DLC over, we have the Owl, Xingje. Wait, no, wrong character. My bad. Zijao. I apologize again if I mispronounce these. His number one choice is going to be Elemental Pulse. Second best choice going to be Thunderstep, similar to Lee and Xingje. And finally, we have Nona. Her number one choice is going to be Elemental Pulses because she cares a lot about running especially pistols, but guns. And two of the better pistols in the game is they both deal elemental damage. One deals fire, one deals corrosion damage. So it's a very good choice. When in doubt, just go Elemental Pulses with the majority of the characters in this game. And Nono's second best choice is going to be Thorny Carapace because you don't exactly get that much value from running Thunderstep because of Iron Wing. It is a very weird interaction, I would say. So even though Nona is not the high health character similar to Tao, as you would imagine, they're both pretty squishy on terms of health and survivability. Thorny Carapace is going to be your second best choice. So with all of that said, these are your choices and options. Of course, when in doubt, just go Elemental Pulses unless you are playing Kansui and going with a pretty much a secondary and primary skill-centered build. And with Leiluo, I definitely recommend going Thunderstep for that big, massive crit damage. Just love to see that big damage go burr. Have a good day, everyone.